This episode contains discussions of depression and imposter syndrome. Listen at your own discretion. It is Thursday, the 3rd of April, 2025. My name is Pigeon and this is my song of the day. Today, we're talking about the Mountain Goats again. It's been a while. I don't know if I've talked about too many of their songs, frankly. But we're getting to the end of the show, and I haven't talked about Riches and Wonders yet. And I love Riches and Wonders, so we're going to have to talk about it, aren't we? It's the 8th track on the 2002 album All Hail West Texas. Originally, I didn't care too much about that album. When I first was making my way through the Mountain Goats discography, I wasn't paying too much attention. And while I liked the Best Ever Death Metal Band at Denton, and I liked Color in Your Cheeks and Jenny, a lot of the album just kind of didn't scan with me. And it wasn't until the podcast I Only Listened to the Mountain Goats with Joseph Fink and John Darnielle, where they discussed this album song by song, that I really got a feel for it and liked a lot of the other songs. Pink and Blue in particular has a soft spot in my heart, but Riches and Wonders has become probably my favorite Mountain Goats song ever. I really love it, and it's a really interesting one because the takeaway that a lot of people have from it, and the one that I originally had, is not the takeaway that John Darnielle had, and that's Death of the Author is interesting, is what I'm saying. The way that I Only Listened to the Mountain Goats worked is that each episode would start with the original recording of the song, and then the episode would end with a cover of the song by someone else. And the cover of Riches and Wonders was by Eliza, Rickman, and Jherek Bischoff. It's good. I enjoy it, but I definitely prefer the original because there's just something about that crusty boombox era Mountain Goats feel that I really enjoy, and it works great for this song. And the other one's a bit too clean, you know. But anyway, let's go listen to the song now and then come back in a few minutes and talk about it. And that was Riches and Wonders by the Mountain Goats. So this song is well known for a few lines. In particular, I am healthy, I am whole, and I have poor impulse control. And the refrain of, and I want to go home, but I am home. And people have different interpretations of that. But John Darnielle himself has said that he finds it strange that people find it a rather hopeful song, when to him it's quite the opposite. I have a quote. The Mountain Goats wiki is great because people compile every single time he said something about a song at a concert. And so there's this quote here from the 23rd of October, 2002, Bottom of the Hill in San Francisco, California, where he says, the point of this song is that, that the narrator really loves the person he's talking to, but at the same time, he never feels that he will be entirely comfortable with anyone, and it's very terrible. And so the song has this big, grandiose, romantic feel to it, while also having this tragedy to it in a way. There's this kind of hanging over it melancholy of how he feels like he's not complete and he never will be, you know? And that's an interesting dichotomy to explore. So let's go into it, shall we? So first of all, the music in it is pretty simple. It's just the do 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 do. And I really like that riff. It's just it just sounds really nice. And it goes into the lyrics. We live high, our love gorges on the alcohol we feed it, and it grows all fat and friendly. We have surplus if we need it. We hold on as hard as we can. Our knuckles are white. We write letters to each other, invent secrets to confess to. I learn foreign and exotic terms of endearment by which to address you. We feed fresh fruit to one another. We stay up all night. I am healthy, I am whole, but I have poor impulse control, and I want to go home, but I am home. So, we live high. Our love gorges on the alcohol we feed it. They're wealthy, not necessarily rich, but they're living well. They're well off. We live high. Our love gorges on the alcohol we feed it. Very much gives you this image of, Greek people in their robes lounging around being fed wine, grapes, right? And it grows all fat and friendly. We have surplus if we need it. They're not left wanting, right? We hold on as hard as we can. Our knuckles are white. Now, that's a very contrasting phrase to the previous bit, because when you say that someone's knuckles are white or that they're white knuckling, it means that they're their fists are clenched or they're holding onto something really tight, as it says here, such that their knuckles are starting to go white. And it sounds like he's saying, we have this great life and we're holding onto it for dear life because it could go away at any moment. But it also sounds like they're holding onto each other, And then we write letters to each other, invent secrets to confess to. I learn foreign and exotic terms of endearment by which to address you. Very old school sort of romantic imagery here, writing letters to each other, invent secrets to confess to, having this kind of old-fashioned confessional sort of idea in his head. And then foreign and exotic terms of endearment by which to address you. I must confess that this is me. No, I love that, the idea of finding new ways to refer to someone and refer to your love for them. it feels like he's not necessarily saying that literally, but he's just like saying, I find new ways to express my love, you know what I mean? We feed fresh fruit to one another, we stay up all night. Again, makes me think of the fucking grapes thing. And then, I am healthy, I am whole, but I have poor impulse control. Such a great line. You know, he says, I am healthy, I am whole. He is like literally, physically healthy. He is whole, he has another person, but I have poor impulse control. There's something inside that's driving him to stress about this, to white knuckle about this, you know? And I want to go home, but I am home. And see, the reason why a lot of people have a healthy vision of this, or a happy vision of this, is the same interpretation that I originally had, which is he's saying, I want to go home is like a stress thing, an anxiety thing, like, oh no, I just want to go home and be safe. And then he says, but I am home. He's like, well, I'm with you. I am home, right? You know, it's like, it's this like sweetness, you know, this sweet realization that like, I don't need to go home. I am home. But in the way that John Darnielle describes it, it seems like the intention is that he's saying, I want to go home, but I am home. And he's saying like, I want to go somewhere safe, but I am in the place that is supposed to be safe and I still don't feel safe. You know what I mean? And then we get the second bit. We are strong, we are faithful, we are guardians of a rare thing. We pay close, careful attention to the news the morning air brings. We show great loyalty to the hard times we've been through. We are filled with riches and wonders. Our love keeps the things it finds, and we dance like drunken sailors lost at sea, out of our minds. You find shelter somewhere in me. I find great comfort in you, and I keep you safe from harm. You hold me in your arms, and I want to go home, but I am home. We're strong, we're faithful, we're guardians of a rare thing. It sounds like he's saying that like we're guarding our love, you know? We pay close, careful attention to the news the morning air brings. I think he's just talking about kind of being in tune with nature, you know? We show great loyalty to the hard times we've been through. That sounds like he's saying like we don't forget the bad times. We learn from the bad times and we pay homage to the bad times, so to speak. We are filled with riches and wonders. Our love keeps the things it finds. I do love the title line. He's saying that like, you know, all these experiences have resulted in so many wonderful things that they keep inside them forever, you know? And we dance like drunken sailors lost at sea, out of our minds. I mean, just a classic statement of love. You find shelter somewhere in me. I find great comfort in you. So there's this mutual comfort and shelter thing, right? And I keep you safe from harm. You hold me in your arms. Again, this mutual comfort thing. And I want to go home, but I am home. See, that's why it sounds like he's reversing it there and saying like, you know, no, but now I am home and I feel safe. But again, because of the original interpretation, it sounds like he's saying like, even with all of this, I still do not feel at home. So it's an ambiguous ending, but it does sound like it's intended to be a bit of a darker ending. And I do enjoy how the guitar just continues for a while and then it ends, and I really like it. I think that's probably going to be the last Mountain Goat song I talk about in this show. That's wild. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for listening. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Tell other people about this show. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Break it down. It's been a while. It's been a while. And I liked Coloring Your Cheeks and Coloring Your Cheeks. And that was Riches and Wonders by the Mountain Goats. Coming at you live on KROQ. Now, of course I had to pick KROQ. Because they usually play Susie and the Banshees. This is very funny if you know the Mountain Goats. Anyway. But it also sounds like they're holding on to each other, you know? I promise never to sing 21 Pilots on this show again. I want to talk about truce, though.